Hello. Um, Different one today. Bit of a longer one as well. I've just got off a Whatnot stream. We started at 10 o'clock. I've just finished about 5 seconds ago. And there was a few questions around how it works, where to get stock, etc. So I thought I'd do a little video. Do you know what I mean? Plus, Irons really wants it. So here I am doing it. Now, a lot of people ask, I think the main thing that we'll probably go over here and now is stock. Um, and I also want to make it clear that Whatnot is not, what's the right word? Um, Whatnot are brutal with fees, shipping, etc. So there's a few hidden things that not everyone knows when starting or when they want to start, or it could potentially put them off, etc. So the way we'll do this is I'll go over stock, where I get it from. I'll go over how I work out profit, Whatnot's fees, time it takes, and also how to, I suppose, set a Whatnot up, I guess. I tried getting into Whatnot quite a while ago. I essentially collected a load of Pokemon's shit, and I then someone recommended Whatnot from another app I was using, TikTok, and they were like, "Yeah, sell all your singles on there." So I went and sold all my singles on there that I had, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed streaming. Um, it gave me a lot of confidence to do this, uh, and stream on Twitch and TikTok and YouTube and etc. And also do Whatnot as I say, as a job. It's not really well. It sort of is. It sort of isn't. But anyway, I do Whatnot as my main source of income at the moment, while I look for a proper job. Um, so yeah, I think the main thing is, in my opinion, if you wanted to start a Whatnot, I would suggest, especially on trading cards, I would highly suggest don't worry about buying stock or anything like that. That's not really important when you're starting. I feel like the best thing you can do is just sell the collection you've already got, right? So whether that be anything that's sealed, if you want to, again, if you want to make some money from stuff you've already bought, or if you're paying for a wedding, because that's what happened to me. I had to find some extra money. Well, not find, but I had to get some extra money to pay for the wedding. So essentially, I sold all my cards to do so. Um, so again, if you have something like that occurs, or your car breaks, or whatever, um, I would strongly suggest setting up a show, and Whatnot will tell you how to do it as well. So essentially, when you inquire about becoming an affiliate, what they essentially do is they send you on. Well, they sent me. I don't know if it's the same anymore. They basically get you to join a live stream sort of thing where this really hyper, over happy American woman describes how Whatnot works, etc. And then sends you on your way. You can then schedule your show. You can then list stuff. It tells you how to do it. The one thing I will say about Whatnot is that if you do get stuck anywhere, they've got help here, selling. It's all here. How to do it, how to schedule a show, etc. It's all here, easy peasy to understand, not difficult at all. Bosh. So let's say you do your first show and you enjoyed it. Let's say you made some pennies, and then let's say you sell all your stuff, and then you've got people that enjoyed your company, enjoyed this, enjoyed that, whatever. There's multiple ways that you can get stock. So the first way is eBay. I'll show you right here. Well, actually, no, I'll show you Pokemon in Japan. So this is essentially a Japanese wholesaler. They sell primarily Japanese stock. So you can buy these art rare bundles from numerous sets. You can buy 2,000. Again, it's a lot of money, by the way. This is another thing you've got to look at. It's a lot of money. I think they have 500 in stock. So 500 will cost you £592. Now, at first, you might think 500 cards. Jesus Christ, that sounds like an absolute steal. However, what I will say is this picture here that they're showing is bullshit. First of all, that card's never in there. That card's. I've bought a few of these. That card's never in there. that card's never in there, that card's never in there, that card's never in there, that card's never in there. Of course, they're going to show you the most exciting cards to, get your attention. These are likely the cards that you'll actually get, right? Now, most of them are worth a couple of quid, right? Especially the Machoke from 151, maybe like £4 or £5. Again, because the packs itself for 151 are quite expensive. So you might be thinking, oh, that's cool. But when you buy them from Japan or abroad in general, anything over £350, I believe, you have to pay import fee, which is about 20%. So you'd have to pay an additional £100 on top of that, or 100 and something pounds on top of this order if you were to do it. So you're looking at like 700 quid, let's call it, for 500 art rares. Now again, you might be thinking, that's still okay. If I sell a card for £2 a hit, or start it at £2, I've made my money back and more. Well, this is where Whatnot and their fees come into place. So, with Whatnot, after your first 30 days of being on the app, they then introduce the fees. So, for every sale you make, you are charged 30p for the transaction. So 30p is just deleted from your sale straight away. You are then also greeted with 11%, or 10%, sorry. It's difficult to work out because it's never the same for each. So it's really weird how they do it. But let's just call it 11%. So if you sell a card for £2, automatically you've lost 30p. So that's £1.70. You've then lost 11%. So 11% at £2, 22p. So you've lost 52p off of that card. Now that may not sound like a lot, but if you add that up over all the cards that you would have sold, it's a lot. So you won't be making what you think you'll make, is what I'm trying to say. Now, this is one place where you can get them. So again, import fees, etc. Now this is here is a list of AR cards included. So you click the cards list, right, and it takes you to this. They're not included. They're just not. I'm really sorry. They're like hardly any of these are included in the bundle you buy. I will quite happily buy a bundle just to prove that. So I think I might do that as like another separate video. Again, this is what they're saying are in their art rares. I will buy a £50 one and we'll see what's in there. But anyway. So this is one place where you can get stock from. Second place you can get stock from is eBay. Now, the best way to do it on eBay is to search for people's binders. So as you can see here, people list this Pokemon TCG collection bundle. So straight away, I can see that there's some good cards in here. So there's a tag team, which are really sought after. There's I think that's a platinum EX card there. There's a Gyarados, a gold Rayquaza, a Rayquaza EX, another Rayquaza, Pikachu VMAX. That's a really popular one. So again, some good cards. But what you'll see very, very often is the first 2 pages will be very, very good. And then after that, they're filled with stuff that isn't very popular. Like, again, Japanese art rares, again, that they're cheap because they're very easy to get hold of. And more what's the word? More printed. So they're very easy to get hold of. But yeah, the rest of this binder is just not. I mean, this is £312. So the way you can do it, which is the way that I do it, is essentially okay. This is 9 pages, 9 cards per page. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So it's 14 pages. So essentially the way I would do it is not do that. Is we go into the calculator. We bring that up here. So it's 14 pages, 9 times 14. Again, I can't really do maths that well. Is 126. So you then do 312 divided by 126 equals, you'd have to sell on average per card £2.47. So if you plus 0.30 plus 11%, you'd have to sell each card for over. You'd have to sell each card at £4, basically, which, on average anyway. Which obviously these cards at the front here are worth a lot more than that. So obviously you're going to be doing that for those ones. But when it comes down to these cards, I mean, you can't sell any of it. You could probably sell that, but you can't sell that or that. Or that. Very unlikely. You can sell the baby shinies, fine, but they won't go for £4. Some of these, fine. The trainers, again, you have to have a very particular. This is another thing with Whatnot. You have to know the audience because your audience is different every single time. So sometimes art rares do really, really well. Sometimes they stink. It just depends who you've got in, really. But again, these cards, they don't sell for what it's worth. So essentially what I would do in this scenario, if it was me, is I'd look at each of these cards and price them up. So I go, okay, Pikachu VMAX, Trainer Gallery, we'll price it up, we'll see how much it's worth. Umbreon and Dark Sight, I think it's called, we'll price it up, we'll check it out. I can't even understand what that Pokemon is. But again, we'd price it up, we'd check it out. The Gyarados EX, we'd price it up, check it out, etc. So certain cards you'd price up and make sure, you check what they're worth. And what I would suggest is if they are worth anything over like £6, I'd price it up and sell it as a buy it now, basically, on Whatnot. Again, you'd still be charged the same fees, but it just means that you're more likely to break even, right? So that's your second place where you can find stock, eBay. eBay is very good. I would say stay away from these though on eBay. If you are looking to sell on, obviously. If you're looking to collect, then obviously a different, kettle of fish. But you can see here, bundle of 31 illustration rares, 31 art rares. Well, there's 31 cards there for £99. So again, what's that, like £3 something per card? It's just, again, it's such a difficult market at the minute to get into. I think the most popular card there is obviously the Misty's Lapras. But again, that's Japanese. So again, the price on that is going to be lower because it's in Japanese. Again, the Drowsy is worth quite a bit of money. Nice. So again, double check the popular cards in here. So again, not the Wobbuffet, not the Friends. The Galarian Zapdos is a Black Star promo, so that's quite popular. The Drowsy I would check. The Lapras I would check. The Gloom I would check. And then everything else I'd probably just list at £2. £2 start, if I'm honest. But there are other art rare bundles where they're like 100 art rares and they sell it for like 180 to £200. Again, I would, if I'm honest, I'd stay away from that. Like this, Japanese 10 gold pack hit card bundle. So again, you get 10 cards that aren't duplicates, so that's pretty good. But it's £16. So you'd have to sell each card for £2 plus to get your money's worth. And again, the art rares, they're not ideal, if I'm honest. So stay away from those. On eBay, I would strictly stick to English binders, like this one. I know this is very expensive, but again, if you're using the money you're generating from Whatnot, you're going to have that money back anyway. The other thing I would strongly suggest, because this has caught me out on multiple occasions, because I've not checked, is the description. So as you can see here, this card's fucking covered up for some reason. Fuck my. Like, what is it? Oh, he's obviously sold it. This Dark Blastoise and the Ho. I mean, look at the state of that card. You can't do anything with that. That is just, like, that's awful that that's even in there. Carefully inspect every card you get. So again, binder wise, count how many cards you can actually sell in there, divide it by the price that they're asking for, and then try and offer below it, right? Most people, if they're bundling all this shit together, they're likely wanting to get rid of it. So offer what you feel is fair. Obviously, don't take the piss. But a good example is I bought this. Let me show you what I bought. Purchase history. So I bought this binder for £368. And straight away I was like, okay, nice. We've got a tag team in there, very popular. We've got golds, very popular. And this card down here, Starmie V, is also very, 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 very popular. That sold for £60 before fees. So already I'm down to £300 essentially. And then the rest of the cards, again, English VMAXs do very well. Anything from Evolving Skies does well. So I sold all these cards yesterday. and yesterday we made in after fees we made. I'll show you actually. There's no point in not showing you. So yesterday's show, if you go on to finances, not finances, sorry. So yesterday's show we made £648.26p. Bearing in mind I sold about 275 things, so we sold some art res alongside that. But this binder here, we made our money back and more easily because of the cards that were in it. Again, there's some trainer galleries in there. There were some promos that went for like £3 or £4 each. There were some movie promos in there that again went for double digits. There was some vintage stuff again that goes. Again, I didn't even sell all the cards. So again, that's the second place you can get your stuff. Just be careful with eBay is all I'll say. Third place you can get your stuff is Whatnot itself. You can use Whatnot because again, people, stuff sells for cheaper than what it should most of the time. So yeah, go on Whatnot, check out some shows. Good shows at Poke Retreat. You've got me, obviously, if you want to come and say hello. You've got Irons as well. Irons has loads of good singles. Iron Collects TCG. You've got Shady 1974. You've got Pokeboss TCG. I'm trying to think of else. You've got TCG Joe, has a lot of like higher vintage stuff. I apologise if I'm forgetting anyone else. I feel like I am, but I can't think, so sorry. Hadders as well, Haders, however you say his name. He's got some good stuff. His stuff tends to go for market anyway. But yeah, Retreat stuff is good. So go check them out. I'll leave their names below. So yeah, go check them out because they'll sort you out. So yeah, you can just use Whatnot. You get to see the cards up and close and personal. They're showing you the card there and then. So again, I feel like that's a good place to pick up your stock essentially, especially if you can get it at a good price. So there is a streamer called Bid Battle. So essentially, he just mainly sells stuff on the bulk. So he'll bulk up like 50 art rare cards and then sell them. The way I see it with art rares, I was able to get mine for 90p per card. So essentially, that is cheaper than what the cheapest option is on for Whatnot. But if a card sells for £1, I'm still at a loss. So essentially, I need cards to go for £2 or more. Excuse me. So I got mine for 90p per card because I bought from a Japanese wholesaler off of Instagram. You can find there's so many on there. I don't even need to give you a name. If you just type in TCG Japan or Chinese or whatever, you'll find them. Drop them a message. They'll be able to give you their price list. The only problem, again, with ordering from Japan is that you'll be faced with import fees. So I spent £3,000 on 3,000 art rares cost me about £2,700. And then the import fee was obviously 20% of that. So again, the whole order cost me over £3,000, right? So again, very important that you take the import fees into account. You take the Whatnot fees into account. You take the packing, the top loaders, the sleeves all into account because it all adds up. Temu is a good place to get your top loaders. So again, if you don't know what a top loader is, it's that. You can't see it. There you go. They are key for keeping cards safe when you send them off because postmen can sometimes be morons. But yeah, that's essentially where you get your stock from. So I would highly recommend here. If you are a business and you are VAT registered, you can go on to wholesale shops like Invicta TCG, and you can go on to Asmodee, I believe it is. Asmodee. Yep. So if you go on here, you can... I don't think you can register anymore because they're fully backed up. I'm pretty sure. Working with us. We are open to notifications. You will need to complete a new account form. Please make sure that your company meets our minimum conditions to trade. Customers must have a bricks and mortar store or independent web store. So again, with this, you have to have a website or a shop. Please note that independent web store does not include third-party sellers like Amazon or eBay. You may offer products on these sites, but you will also need your own web store. If your company does not meet these conditions, but you feel that a case can be made for you becoming a customer, please fill in the form, etc. And then there's like minimum orders. So you have to pay, have to do a minimum order of £200. Payment delivery. Payments must be from accounts department based on draft invoice that will be sent to a chosen billing account details. So essentially, when I order from Invicta, they send me an invoice, I then pay it. Pre-orders again, so they send out pre-orders, and they also, I can't think of the word, but they allocate you a certain amount if you get like an accountant with them, I think it is. So again, you can do this, or another way of doing this is you go on your store locator, and then it shows you where your local stores are. So Galleon Games is a popular one that I sometimes use because again their prices are very, very fair, and it's very local. So yeah, they've essentially sold out of everything though. That's the only problem. But again, use the store locator because that's pretty cool. But they've got these things as well. So the championship decks, if you want them, they're there. They got obviously other trading cards stuff as well. But again, this place I used for a lot of packs that I've had before. So Obsidian Flames Battle Styles, I believe it's called. But yeah, their packs and booster boxes are very, very reasonably priced. Like £3.80 for a Paradox Rift. It's very, very cheap. Considering wholesale price is £3. So they're only increasing it by 80p. So it's nothing major, to be fair. So yeah, that's another good website to use. Obviously, Galleon Games, they deliver, countrywide. But in terms of the other stuff, so the fees and all that sort of stuff, so like I mentioned briefly earlier, you get a 30p fee for every sale you make. So that's why selling on, in bulk can sometimes help. So if you do 2 art rares at once instead of 1, typically people will pay more for more than 1 card. Or they'll pay £2 and you'll... Them paying £2 for 2 art rares is still better than them paying £1 for 2 separate art rares, if that makes sense, because you get double the fees, double the whatever. It's insane. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend. I would recommend selling in bulk, to be fair. As long as you've got the audience for it, then cool. I think the other thing as well is buyers giveaways. So what can sometimes help with customers buying stuff is buyers giveaways. So essentially what you can do is you can, before the show starts, set up the buyers giveaway. And typically what I would suggest is a booster box of some kind, like a Japanese one, or a slab. Again, eBay, you can get slabs. Sometimes higher end cards do work. Like today we gave away this. And if you know, this is a hard card to pull. It's a rare card. It's worth about £80 raw. In a 10, it's about 180 to 200. So I feel like sometimes a booster box, is a bit better, because essentially the customer who wins it can then sell it or rip it and sell the hits or whatever. Again, another good place to get your booster boxes from is Poking in Japan. Just remember, anything over $3.50, I think you'll have to pay import fees on. Again, their prices are very, very fair. Shiny Treasures is a very popular set, and it's £49. Really good price. Another good booster box to give away is £151. Again, they are expensive though, so this is again another thing you're going to have to take into account when you're working out costing and etc. So what I would suggest to anyone that's looking to start or has a large Pokemon collection that they want to get rid of just for some extra pennies, get rid of them. And then what you want to do with the spare money is up to you. If you build a good customer base and they come in, there's regulars, etc., then put the money you make into new stock and just use that money for stock. Just keep rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. Um, if you're just looking to just sell your collection and get on with it, then fair enough. But I would strongly suggest just doubly making sure, because again, I shouldn't have bought as many art rares as I did. Like, yeah, there were some cool art rares in there, but all the cool art rares are gone, and now we're just left with the stuff that isn't really what people are after. So I'm sort of left with this dead stock, which is a bit annoying, but it's my own fault for buying too many. So I would probably stick with eBay moving forward, if I'm honest. Um, just because the binders you can pick up are really good. Like, there was 120 cards here. So again, 10368 divided by 120 is what, like £2, no, £3 something per card. This one was 60 straight away. So again, that's already taken away the deficit instantly. The Zard the Zard went for 15, so that's 75 gone already, and there was still 119 cards left to go. So it's like, yeah, I would very, very strongly recommend the binders. People's binders, they're just hard to come by. The other place I've just remembered you can check is if I could spell it. So Card Market. So Card Market, you can find cards for very, 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 very cheap. I mean, look at this Raichu for €2. An E-Series Raichu. Very, very cheap. Look at this Black Bolt Trainer Elite Box. €15. Now, you might be thinking this is too good to be true. And you're right, it is. The problem with Card Market is you have to find one specific seller on here to stick with, because if you order from, let's say, because this is like worldwide, so you could buy cards from Italy, France, Spain, Japan, whoever. If you buy cards from different sellers, then that delivery fee is going to bulk up big time. So I would very, very strongly recommend just sticking with one seller if you can. Like Black Bolt, for example. It's, I mean, €15 was a bit cheap. I'm not sure why it's in euros, because I'm based in England, so I'm not really sure why that's happening. So I can't give an accurate fucking price check. But they have also other TCGs there as well that are quite popular. One Piece is popular, so there's always that. But yeah, they break it down. So you've got sealed products, booster boxes. I mean, let's have a look at some of them. Gloria Team Rocket booster box at £28.99, and if we go back onto here, £62. And again, with Pokin in Japan, you have to pay £20 delivery. So to make it really worthwhile, you would have to spend a good amount of money here. But yeah, Heatwave Arena booster box 25, Destined Rivals booster box 179. So yeah, you got booster boxes. Then got singles as well. So if you go only available, grid view, and then you search. I didn't mean to do booster boxes, but yeah, you got 151. Prismatic Evolutions, V-Star Universe, Shrouded Fable. You got Surgeon Sparks from €80. Again, this is a good place to get stuff, but again, with shipping, with import fees, etc., it can get quite expensive. So there is that, just to bear in mind. I mean, look at this Pikachu jungle artwork from 25th Celebrations. Now, again, you also have the condition. So near mint is €50. So what I would strongly suggest you do, if you do it this way, is find a specific seller and just see if they have enough stock for you, basically, is what I would say. Like, you can click Celebrations and then it brings you to Celebrations. So you've got Elite Trainer boxes, you've got the pins, you've got the box sets, the booster packs. I mean, the booster packs are very expensive. The singles, let's just put it in grid view a minute. So yeah, as you can see here, they're all very, very cheap. Even the Mew sells, Lugia will sell, Reshiram will sell, etc. It's just very long doing it this way, is what I would say. but I think I will give this a go as well. But I think what we'll do, because I'll try and keep this up. I mean, to break it down today, to give a prime example of how savage Whatnot are, I sold 500 things today on Whatnot. 500 separate auctions, all started at £1. And before, so I gave some giveaways as well. So with giveaways, you can do follower ones. I don't know, I'm doing quotation marks when it is a followers fucking giveaway. Absolute idiot. So you can do followers giveaways. What that essentially means is that you're giving a random customer free shipping and a random item. So I don't think it's fair that you just give them free shipping. You have to give them something, right? I don't think it's fair to give them fuck all, but people do it. Anyway, so essentially what I do, I say you get a free card and free shipping. I feel like that's fair enough. Shipping cost, it would cost me £2.70 for you to win something for free. So I gave away 10 of them. So that's automatically what, over 30 quid? And then including the buyer's giveaway is also postage. Again, it's like 35. Let's call it 35 quid on shipping. So that's automatically taken off my sales. So my total sales was £1,029. So already I'm at like £999, right? After fees and all the other bullshit that Whatnot do, that's how much I walked away with. Now that might seem like a lot, but trust me when I say, from 1,029 to 733, savage, in my opinion. I feel like they fuck sellers so hard. I mean, look at this show for example. 1,412 and 95 pence I made on 9th of July, and we made it again on the 11th of July. So £3,000 over what, 2 days? But again, the other thing that goes into it is the time and effort. I mean, I've been waffling for what, 30 minutes, and time, I spend hours scouring eBay, Whatnot, TikTok. Sometimes TikTok is another good place you can get your stock from. So with TikTok, sometimes they give you those £100 vouchers. So you'd have to spend like £5 in like the shitty sales bit. So you could buy like 5 fucking, I don't know, bottle openers. You then get gifted a voucher, well, vouchers up to adding up to £100. So I think the max one is when you spend £100, you get £40 off. So that's obviously good as well. So you could, you know, maybe buy a booster box and get 40 quid off, use it as a giveaway or something like that. But yeah, I mean, sometimes you'll have stinky shows like this. Look, I sold 100 items that day. Stinky. But over the past couple of days, we've done okay. So we sold 275 things then. So we've sold 750 things, I would say. Let's just make sure that's correct. So if we go on shipments, we scroll up here, try not to fucking pending delivery 512, analytics maybe, and you can also look at how much you made per year or like lifetime. So estimated sales from the 9th of July to the 23rd of July is 6,956. That is before fees though. So again, before fees, after fees, even worse. So if we go, is there any way I can change this? No way I can change it, unfortunately. I was just trying to see like the orders per stream. But if you go onto like lifetime, you can see how much you've made. So sales, we're close to £30,000 in sales since I started on the 25th of November. So you can see I started in November. I then took a massive break, and then went back in January, Feb, March. Again, big break from March, and then April. Again, big break till May, and then ever since March, well, ever since, yeah, I'd say April, we've been going ham. like every other day or every evening, etc. So yeah, that is. I mean, here we go. So Muse buys gift. So this was last night. So last night we had 290 orders. Some of those were giveaways. 15 giveaways. So 200, like I say, 275 were orders. So let's just divide that by the completed earnings. Look at the absolute difference. £200 taken off. 15 giveaways. So 15 times £2.70. Fucking hell. Know what I mean? Know what I mean? And then I've done 11 giveaways today, so £2.70. 30 quid. It's so again we ignore that for now. So 648. Again, this is a good way of working out. Again, 0.26 divided by 275. So on average, cards sold for £2.35. Oh, here you go. It says it right fucking here. I'm an absolute donk. Average order value is £2.94. So again, that's absolutely fine for me because I spent 90p per card, so that's all right. As long as we do that, I'm quite happy with that. That's fine. Is it going to let me do today? No. So what else have we also had? So we have Japanese Art Rare Madness. Again, 200 orders, 491. Average order £3.25. So again, art rares. Again, can be a little bit wild. All day stream. Average order £5. Have we got any more? £3.19. I've already done that one. OBS sucks, which it does. So that's another thing. You can again, I shouldn't have done giveaways there. That's insane. Look at the average. That was such a stupid thing to do, given the stream and the way it was going. That was really, 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 really silly. That's the other thing you've got to do. I think if you do want to do it seriously and do it as a job or do it as another source of income, which a lot of people are doing, which is completely fair enough, you got to look at the other people on here, man. So some of the big boys. You've got Poker Retreat, massive. Look, 200 people in there. You've got actual companies coming on there now and streaming. Zavi, Sully, another big one. They're close, so that's fine. TCG Kicks, another big one. Where's the other big one? Pokérand, 113. And this is the other thing, right? That they do. Not all of them, but a lot of them do. So 3 packs all night. Most of their viewers aren't buying. They're just taking shit. Which is then taken away from other sellers who they might buy from, you know? So these are things you've got to be careful of. I mean, again, with a thumbnail like that, fucking hell. And look at all the bookmarks. Jesus Christ. Look at all the Bubble Muse. Look at all the vintage stuff. Look at all the SARs. It's just savage. But obviously he's a premier shop, so he's worked very, very, very hard to get there, which is double decent. I like Retreat, a lot of time for him, so thumbs up to him. So yeah, I would just be careful and very wary of when you do your shows. So what I've started to figure out is going on in the evening is a little bit better because people come home from work. Everyone's mostly finished with their day-to-day stuff, so I feel like going on in the evening is probably a lot better. Saturday during the day is good. Sunday like afternoon, evening is also good. Again, because work's over. And also, going on, I feel, towards the end of the week is also better. Because once you get everything sent out, like postage-wise, again, this is another thing I'm going to touch on before I finish up. You've got to post the shit. Once the weekend's done, they'll likely get their stuff Monday, Tuesday. So, that's also another thing to look at. So, postage-wise, I wonder if I can show you the stuff. So I use this little shelf now as my little like stock thing. You can't see it, I don't think. Maybe if I hold it here. Yeah, yeah. So you can sort of see it here. Um, so essentially, there's a couple ways that you can do people's orders throughout the show. So there's the numbering on the card. So basically, what Whatnot will do is when you sell an item, it will say auction 1. So you can write 1 on that card if it's sleeved up. Obviously, don't want to write on the actual card. And then you can pack the orders once you're actually packing and printing labels off. I, for a long time, used to pack orders as I went. So I would sell the person's item. So they'd go, let's say, irons, you've won that. I would then get a postage bag and I would write Iron's names on it. His name on it. And then every future purchase he would make, I would put his cards in there. So there, the packaging is done. It makes the job afterwards a lot easier. However, it does slow the show down a lot, and it can impact your like your sales, because essentially people with Whatnot, people like quick, snappy, especially on like sudden death and things like that. Especially when there's good cards to buy. So yeah, again, just be wary of that. Other things to remember: you'll need to buy postage, you'll need to buy a label printer, you'll need to buy labels, a Sharpie pen. Also, I'd recommend Sharpies. You would need to buy a phone stand, a light. If you're going to stream, what essentially happens is you'll get a email just confirming the show and your sales. You'll then have to go onto whatnot.com. So what we're on here. You'll then have to go into shipments, and then it will tell you your. Okay, that is today's stream. So it will tell you the sales, completed earnings, shipping spend, items sold, pending delivery, etc. So the best way to do it that I've learnt now is to do it via. So you can do it via items. So you can see here that these people bought quite a lot. A lot of people just won giveaways and didn't spend anything, which can sometimes get my nerves. Excuse me. But you will get that a lot. People will just spend one thing or they'll win the giveaway and go away, which is fair enough. Like, is what it is. Not a problem. So you'll open the sidebar here. There'll be a yellow button here that will basically say generate all labels. So you click that, a pop-up will come here. It will then say generating's done. You can then export the shipping labels to your email address, so send them via a PDF and the labels. I'll do it now. So you click shipping labels, send via email, and it'll go to your email. It is all done via Royal Mail tracked, 48 hours, unless you have people buying from another country. So I have my good friend Captain, who lives in America. So the shipping's a little bit different. You have to go via DPD. So any co-op does DPD deliveries. So you just go there, say you've got one for DPD, and they'll scan it, send it off. Easy peasy again. But again, you get all your weight and your dimensions and stuff like that. So again, Whatnot will tell you most of the stuff that I haven't told you. So how to list an item, how to run an auction, how to schedule a show, etc. They will tell you that, so I'm not going to bother with that. This is more to focus on. If you are going to do it, these are the things you've got to be careful of. These are the things that the big streamers don't talk about. I know Randy's got a video out in terms of a day in the life of a Whatnot, but he doesn't go on about Whatnot fees. He doesn't go on about anything. So in my opinion, if you want to do it and you've got some money aside, then I've given you the place to go look and go do it, right? If you've got Pokemon stuff that you just want to get rid of, perfect place to do it. First 30 days are no fees. So if you want to do it in a month, get it gone, get it gone. I would also say, again, you're going to have to spend out in terms of labels, the thermal printer, a Sharpie, maybe a couple of Sharpies. You'll have to buy giveaways if you want to do it, again, if you want to do it properly, full time. And yeah, the whole thing is very time consuming. And again, given the fact that I sold 500 and whatever things it was today, I don't think we actually worked it out. Again, this is for a full day. I started at 10 and I finished at 5. So if we go analytics, I suppose, was it here? What's the date today? 23rd, is that right? I just want the 23rd. There we go. Oh, wait. Hello? It is the 25th. Wait. Why am I getting confused with the dates? Okay, it won't let me do them. Fine, whatever. So yeah, 500 things, and we got 733. So again, you do the math, you work out where you stand, etc. So 733.73 divided by 500, £1.46. So again, I'm still up by 50p, which is good. 50p profit per card is fine. Some of the cards, in fairness, did go for a lot cheaper than what they should have. I did have some English cards which didn't sell well for some reason. But again, that will happen, unfortunately. I feel like as long as you have a really good buyer's giveaway, I feel like they're very, 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 very key. Have a couple of followers giveaways, maybe like 5, just to sort of get people in and get some followers up. But yeah, other than that, I think if you are going to do it full time, go to the places I've told you. Get some packs as well. Mix it up. Don't have maybe the same thing. I feel like people like a bit of variation. So maybe start with some art rares, move on to some English if you've got it, move on to some packs if you can get them. Do some bundles. Maybe sell some like pins as well. I know some people buy some pins. Maybe some toys as well. So I know one stream we sold a couple of toys, which was quite fun. But yeah, other than that, if you have any questions or I haven't made sense, then let me know, and I'll quite happily try and make sense in the comments, or do a different video. We got a Discord where I go live and whatnot most of the time, maybe like 3 times a week. You got Irons, who goes on every Sunday. You got Shady, who goes on. You got Pokeboss TCG, which goes on. There's Monty as well. Trying to think of anyone else. There's a few other people to go on as well. But yeah, if you want to come and join the Discord, there's a link in the description. I'd appreciate it if you did. If you want more Whatnot stuff, then by all means, let me know. I can do that. That's not a problem. What I might do one day, just out of pure curiosity, is I might go live on YouTube and Whatnot at the same time, and just see how that does. If anyone wants to do that, get some more people in. But yeah, quick summary: if you want stock, Instagram, Whatnot, eBay, TikTok, Vinted, Japanese wholesaler websites. Wholesalers, if you're a VAT, if you want to be VAT registered. The last thing I will say is one thing to be careful of: Whatnot and eBay have to send your sale reports and etc. and your tax information to the tax man. So if you make X amount, I believe it's more than £1,000. I think if you make more than £1,000 on either one, it's very, very likely that they're going to send you a letter to say that you have to do a self-assessment. So essentially what that means is you have to submit your own tax and tax return and all that sort of bullshit. So again, be wary of that. That is something that is not talked about at all when people ask about Whatnot. You will have to pay tax if you are successful at doing it. You will have to submit a tax report, blah, blah, blah. I got a letter a couple weeks ago, so I've had to do it. As it's now my full-time job, I've had to obviously do other stuff as well. So be wary of those bits. But other than that, a couple of people wanted to know the ins and outs. I feel like I've gone a little bit more deep than some others have, and I hope that helps anyone that does watch this find the answer if they do want to do it or not. Again, I feel like if starting from scratch is very, very difficult, sometimes it isn't for people because they're very likable, or they have really good stock, so it keeps people there. But yeah, I would always say stick to these websites, stick to Instagram. There's Warm Fudge on Instagram. He's an English one, so you don't have to pay the import fee. But his AR cards are a little bit more expensive per one. So yeah, other than that, I hope it helps. If not, I'm really sorry. If I've just waffled, I'm really sorry. But yeah, I might do these like weekly maybe to see how we've done. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But if you have watched, thank you very much, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.